Welcome. This is our yin flow for the day. It's going to be starting off yin, moving into some active yoga, and then we'll complete it again with yin. I think today we're just going to use a bolster and one singular block. Um, yeah. So yesterday was the summer solstice, which is the longest day of daylight in the year. And so if you look at it from the winter solstice to the summer solstice, things are building up. And then from the summer solstice to the winter solstice, things are kind of tidying up and we're dropping back in. So this is a great time at this midpoint of the year to take time to meditate, to slow down, and to reflect. And so one thing that you can do during this time of reflection is, just consider when you started off this year, what were the seeds that you intended to plant, the goals or the desires that you wanted to manifest, or opportunities that maybe you wanted to take advantage of. Or you could look at 2023 with it being a year of healing, maybe what was presented or what you wanted to work with or potentially heal, or maybe something that you didn't even know that you were going to be healing. And maybe this is a time to take stock of it and to do that contemplative work to see where have I improved, or what am I mending, or what's being presented for me to heal now. So the universe is still backing us up with a lot of support right now. If you ever study with a true astrologer, they are sharing all of these different things that are coming up in the planets and the stars and how it's supporting the time that we're going through here on Earth. And they make some amazing, predictions. So yesterday, I'm just going to say it. I felt like I got attacked from one of my siblings that lives in North Carolina. And she's not typically this way. And I know that she's incredibly burnout. And so I decided, instead of texting her back and having my rebuttal, I was just going to pull back. I was going to let it breathe. I was going to let it sit there. And then I'll respond later. And this is something that I've been putting into practice more and more as part of living yoga, because sometimes if someone gets triggered, or if someone attacks you and triggers you, even, just verbally, sometimes we can say things or get on the defense, and maybe that's not what the situation is calling for. So a lot of my father has been not doing great, and he's back in the hospital, and he really hasn't been doing well for 3.5 years. And two of my sisters that live in the same hometown as my mom are constantly going there day in and day out to help and to relieve her. And then me and my other sister live in another state, and we try to get there when we can. I try to go every 3 months. My other sister usually goes once or twice a year. And so I can understand my siblings are getting frustrated. I can feel and hear a lot of resentment on their part because we're not there and our lives are not set up there. So we can't always be there to lean on. But it is something that is out of our control. I couldn't even move back if I wanted to. But anyway, you may notice some things coming up for you. So yesterday, after going through that and then hearing an astrologer speak of assessing what we're healing, I realized this is a new tactic for me and my family, for me not to speak back right away, just to create some space first, let things simmer down. And it's much better if we come back to communicate later when the emotions aren't so high, or when the stress levels have died down a little bit. So now that I've given you my example of what I've noticed, I want you to notice for yourself, during this time frame, what it is that you're healing. Are you seeing any progression? But also what seeds you're trying to grow and build, and whether or not that is happening for you. Maybe you need to soften your ways or change your direction, let it go, or put more energy to it, you know, all the variables in place. We're going to start sitting and breathing, and we're going to do something called the box breath. So the box breath is really similar to a measured breath. I'll go ahead and tell you, we're going to breathe into 4, hold for 4, and breathe out to 4. So when you're sitting on top of a prop, to get the hips a little higher, let yourself extend your spine and bring your right hand over your belly and your left hand over your heart. And let's close the lids of the eyes. At first, just watching and witnessing a normal breath. Building it up under your command. Noticing the movement that you feel beneath your hands. And then I'll do the counting for us. Let's begin the pranayama. Let's inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now do this a couple more rounds on your own. Breathing into 4, holding for 4, and breathing out to 4. Twice more. Now that we've done a little breath work, we're going to come away from the bolster. We're going to lie down on our back and come to supported bridge. So bring your block with you. Lower down with your knees bent. Let your hamstrings and glutes fire up to lift your hips away from the floor. Slide the block under the sacrum and sit upon it. Now we're also going to add in some work with the arms. So let's lift the arms skyward. Let's cross the arms into an egg shape and let the fingertips relax down towards the shoulders. Now we're not holding or gripping the body with the hands. The elbows are pointed straight up towards the ceiling. You may find that you go into a pressure or trigger point on your upper back. Make sure the face is clear so it doesn't block your breath. That box breath that we were doing can help with panic attacks. It can help to ease anxiety. It can lessen our stress levels and provide a state of calm. So if you want to continue that box breath, you can, breathing into 4, holding to 4, and breathing out to 4. Inhale, let's take the arms overhead again. Exhale, swap the crossing of the arms, crisscrossing the other way, and wriggle the hands back down. Face is clear, arms over the collarbones. This side may feel different. Just try to relax and breathe. And feel free to continue the box breath. On your next in-breath, release the threading of the arms and open them out into the winged or goddess position, feeling your chest broaden. And then allow the knees to open away from each other and close the feet together. So you're in a butterfly position for your hips, even though you remain elevated on the block. Try to soften your inner and outer thighs. Since we've been up on the block for a bit, just hold for 7 more yogic breaths. On 1. On 2. On 3. On 4. On 5. On 6. On 7. All right, let's slowly lift the knees back up, flatten the soles of the feet down. Bring the arms beside you so that when you tuck and lift away from the block, you're going to roll down to the sacrum. Once you're down on your low back, pick up your feet and you're going to grab a hold of either your shins, your big toes, your inner arches, or the outer edges of the feet. They all feel a little bit different in the effect. So find one that speaks to you today or the one that's most accessible. Holding your happy baby pose. So this is the pose that we typically take, whenever there's a child being birthed. You may not be holding your feet, but it's a similar position like a squat. And remember, it's not just about birthing babies. Let's think about what we were being contemplative about before. What were you wanting to birth for yourself this year? Has it happened at this midpoint? Is there more work to do? Or maybe it's morphed into something completely different. Now from Ananda Balasana, we're actually going to roll forward to a squat position. So if you want to roll forward, contracting your core, or maybe you want to roll to the side and then join me in this position. So if your knees give you any grief, maybe your squat is here, head bowed to prayer hands. Maybe you want to be lifted off the floor, but today you're feeling like you need a prop to help you to balance. Therefore, you can get a block to sit on and bow your head in this manner. And then, of course, if you want to take the regular form of squat, you can hover and bow your head to prayer hands here. And is the perfect type of practice that gives us the space and time and quietude to reflect and to turn inward and to be in the question of things. So let's bring the hands down and the hips up, turning the feet forward, but keeping them separated so that you're coming into a wide stance form of dangling pose. Remember, dangling pose, the knees have a bend. It can be a little or a lot. You can discern what's best for you in the now. Your arms, your head, your neck are just feeling down. The eyes can be open or shut, but keep the breath nice and free. Sometimes the obstruction of breath is telling us we're doing too much physically. So if that's the case, you can modify or exit the pose. Concentrate here on if you tend to cater or lean more weight to the right or left. Sometimes even getting a visual check can give us that information. Also notice you collapse towards the insoles of your feet or on the outer edges of the feet. Is it possibly in your ability to distribute the weight evenly? And then let's start to heel toe the feet more together. Once you come here, elongate your legs and sweep the arms to your sides and up overhead. When you get the arms up, let's go ahead and do a gentle backward bend. You don't have to go very far. Pull the palms together, hinge down into your Uttanasana. So the legs are a straighter form. And then inhale, pop up halfway. This is where we're getting into our active poses. Exhale, slowly descend. Inhale, step back, down dog. And when you step back to downward facing dog, you're equally applying pressure through the hands and the feet. We're going to lift the right leg up. And we're going to bend the knee at the top and turn the gaze under the right arm like downward scorpion. From downward scorpion, we're going to unroll that twist, slide the right foot under the belly up towards the left hand to spin down to the left foot and reach the left arm up in the air to rock star pose. And as we exhale, we're sliding the right foot out, plopping down to the buttocks, and the legs are wide apart. Now, flex your ankles, lift your toes, push down through your thighs, and reach the arms overhead. As you exhale, keep your ankles flexed, your thighs pushing down, and lean out actively and hover the arms until you start getting a little tired, and then bring the hands down. Now we're in the active form of Konasana, this wide angle position. But we're going to walk the hands over to the left leg. We'll frame the leg with the palms. We'll spin the navel towards the left knee and then lower down over that side. So we're approaching this pose the active way. On your next inhale, the arms and torso will lift enough, so you're stretching out over that side. We'll build right back up to the middle. Keep the toes jutting up. Sit bones pressing down, and reach out and through the center of the legs again. Hover and hold, and then lower your hands. Coming into Konasana. And affirming here, I will accept everything that comes my way as an opportunity for more potential growth. Just as we did before, we're going to walk the hands, but this time over towards the right leg. Frame it up, spin through the navel center, and hold out over the right leg. Extend the arms out. Rise back up through center. And then exhale, you're going to spill the right hand to face the front side of your mat again. You're going to turn and lift to rock star pose. We're going to take the right foot back, hands below the shoulders into plank. And then exhale, push back, down dog. Stay inverted a moment. Let's lift the left leg this time. Take downward scorpion. Be cautious with that turning because you want to pay attention to your right inner thigh. Don't overdo. Unwind from that twist. Slide your left foot under up towards your right hand. Roll the back foot down for rock star. And then slide your left foot out, bring the hands down, and turn the toes up. Okay, now we're on the second side. But on this side, we're going to be more yin. So go ahead and kind of rock your feet back and forth. We're loosening the muscles. You can even use your hand to rock the inner thighs up and down. We'll just crawl the hands out in front of us. Now, if you wanted a prop, say, to stack your arms on, you can use a block or bolster there. If you have a little bit more flexibility, it's okay to lower and round the back even. Turning inward, remembering this is the perfect time to reflect on what you've gained and learned thus far this year. And maybe what you want to put your energy towards for the remainder of the year. What have you been healing? Or what do you want to continue healing? We're going to walk the hands over towards the inner left leg. The left arm will drape here, palm open, but the right arm's gonna lift and you're gonna roll the right shoulder back. So you're incorporating a side bend this time. That top arm, because we're approaching it yin, can have a curve. Your wrist, fingers can relax. Your head could even droop. Inhale, let's come up. And exhale, we'll teeter over to the other side. So we're spilling over the right leg. The left arm's going to hang down. The head can release down. Affirming, I will accept everything that comes my way as an opportunity for more potential growth. Inhale, coming up. And if you don't like transitioning through the rock star pose, you fold the legs together, come to plank, meet me in down. Otherwise, your left hand can plant, feet turn, give yourself a boost up to rock star. Then you can slide the left foot back, plank, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. So that was the active portion of the practice. Now we're going to return to more of a yin practice, like we were just doing in dragonfly. So we're going to come down to the belly and we're going to separate the feet apart. The arms are going to be sphinxed. Your head can be lifted, but you also can shrink into the shoulders and bow your head. Some people even like to put a block or prayer hands underneath the brow. So find one of those positions to be in now. We're going to combine the affirmation for this pose with the previous affirmation. I rise joyfully to greet each and every new opportunity, knowing and accepting the opportunities that come my way as an opportunity for more growth. I rise joyfully to greet each and every new opportunity and accepting each opportunity as a potential for more growth. Now slide your left arm to your left side. Turn down to your left ear with your right hand beside your chest. We're going to push away from this right hand to roll to the left hip and bend and stack the knees. So already you're in broken wing, but we usually open this right hip. And what I normally recommend is stacking the feet, lifting the right knee, or stepping the foot behind your back. You can still do one of those two options, but you could also stand your right foot on the floor just prior of that left knee and keeping the right knee elevated. It's a whole different feel in the pose, but you may like it if you want to try something new. I learned this last one from a student. I was instructing it the other way, and she took this position, and I didn't correct her because I knew this would work. And then tested it later. I was like, "Ooh, that feels pretty good." So teachers learn as much from their students as the students learn from the instructor. All right, now I want you to stack your knees, drop towards your chest so the left hand can slide towards you. Pick yourself up just enough to rotate onto the belly, onto the chest, and then turn to rest on either cheek. The left cheek will be more gentle. The right cheek will be a little bit more fierce for the neck and the low back. So just make sure your body is ready for it if you go there. All right, slide the feet down the length of the mat, roll onto your belly, wiggle the hips, slide your right arm over, turn down to the right ear, push away from the left hand, bend your knees. We're going into broken wing, which means you can go into the clam position for your hips, feet stacking, left foot behind, or left foot in front, right knee. Let's slide the left knee to stack on the right. Draw it more towards your chest so the right hand can slide towards you. Then you can push your palms to come up. Rotate more through your belly. Come down to your belly chest. Rest on one or the other cheek. And you can also make this restorative and put a bolster underneath your belly, but we're not going to be here as long today, which is why I didn't give the suggestion earlier. Just a few rounds of breath. Slide the feet back, roll to the abdomen, hands tucked under the shoulders, and push up and back to extended child's pose initially. But then we're going to pick up one hand and circle it around the body, and then the other, circling around the body. Creating child's pose. And believe it or not, this is actually an inversion because the tilting of the body is helping to manipulate the current of the energy and blood flow to come towards the third eye or brow. So this will be our final inverted pose. I usually like ending with an inversion, a twist, or both. The trick here is to stay turned inward, even though we're going to come up out of this positioning and we're going to create an alternate shape for Savasana. So maybe take the block under the bolster like that, draping the legs over. Feel free to cover your eyes or to wrap up in a blanket. Take your time getting settled, because we're going to go back to the pranayama of the box breath. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, hold, breathe out. Breathing in, hold, breathing out. Now let the box breath go and just move into a state of being, affirming bones, muscles, movement. I surrender now. Anxiety, elation, depression, churning thoughts, I now give over to the hands of peace. Peace, be still, and know that I am. Let's begin to deepen the flow of our breathing. And let's commit that at some point today, maybe we'll take some time to get out pen and paper or just to sit with this idea of discovering what we've healed so far this year and the healing that needs to take place. What we've achieved so far this year and what we want to continue to work towards the rest of the year. Let's inhale, extend the arms overhead. Exhale, draw the knees together. From Apanasana, roll to one side of your body. Come up to take a seat. Bringing your hand to prayer. The light in me honors and bows respectfully to the beautiful radiant light in each of you. Namaste.